goes to a restaurant and orders a chicken dish. By the time the food is ready and he is about to eat, the waiter comes back and says, "Sir, I'm afraid there has been a mistake. You see, that police officer who is sitting at the next table is a regular customer of ours and he usually orders the chicken dish. The problem is, this is the last chicken in the house. I'm afraid I'll have to take this dish to him and arrange for another dish for you." The guy gets really upset and refuses to give up his food. The waiter walks over to the other table and explains the situation to the officer. A few minutes later, the officer walks over to the man's table and says, "Listen and listen good. That's my chicken you're about to eat and I'll warn you. Whatever you do to that chicken, I'll do the same to you. You pull out one of its legs, I'll pull out one of yours. You break one of its wings, I'll break one of your arms." The man calmly looks at the chicken, then sticks his middle finger in the bird's rectum, pulls it out and licks it. He then gets up, drops his pants, bends over and says, "Go." The wedding date was set and the groom's three pals, a carpenter, an electrician, and a dentist, were deciding what pranks to play on the couple on their wedding night. The carpenter figured swaying the slates of their bed would give them a chuckle or two. The electrician decided to wire the bed with alternating currents, of course. The dentist wouldn't commit himself, but wore a slag ring and promised it would be memorable. The nuptials went as planned, and a few days later, each of the groom's buddies received the following note: "Dear friends, we didn't mind the bed slates being swayed, and the electric shock was only a minor setback. But Jesus, I'm going to kill the guy who put anesthetic in the Vaseline." There is a boy and a girl in a religious education class. The girl falls asleep. The teacher asks a question: "Who created Earth?" The boy pokes her with a pen and she yells, "God." She falls back to sleep. The teacher asks another question: "Who were the Holy Family?" The boy pokes her with a pen and she says, "Jesus, Mary, and Joseph." She falls back to sleep. The teacher asks another question: "What did Mary say to Joseph after their 23rd baby?" The boy pokes her with a pen and she says, "If you stick that thing in me one more time, I swear I will snap it in half." A 40-year-old woman wants to get married, but she is only willing to marry a man if he is still a virgin. After several unsuccessful years of searching, she decides to take out a personal ad. She ends up corresponding with a man who has lived his entire life in the Australian outback. They end up getting married. On their wedding night, she goes into the bathroom to prepare for the festivity. When she returns to the bedroom, she finds her new husband standing in the middle of the room naked, and all the furniture from the room piled in one corner. "What's happened?" she asks. "I've never been with a woman," he says. "But if it's anything like a kangaroo, I'm going to need all your." One day, a single mother was in the supermarket with her 4 children who were playing around. They were running around grabbing items off the shelves, crying and screaming all over the place. Finally, the mother cornered them and said, "I should have swallowed all of you." Father and son went hunting together for the first time. The father said, "Stay here and be very quiet. I'll be across the field." A little while later, the father heard the blood-curdling scream and ran back to his son. "What's wrong?" the father asked. I told you to be quiet, the boy answered. Look, I was quiet when the snake slithered across my feet. I was quiet when the bird breathed down up my neck. I didn't move a muscle when the skunk climbed over my shoulder. I closed my eyes and held my breath when the wasp stung me. I didn't cough when I swallowed the net. I didn't swear or scratch when the poison oak started itching. But when the two squirrels crawled up my trouser leg and one of them said, "Should we eat them here or take them with us?" Well, I guess I just panicked. A little boy goes to his dad and asks, "What is politics?" Dad says, "Well, son, let me try to explain it this way. I'm the breadwinner of the family, so let's call me capitalist. Your mom, she's the administrator of the money, so we'll call her the government. We're here to take care of your needs, so we'll call you the people. The nanny will consider her the working class and your baby brother. We'll call him the future. Now think about that and see if that makes sense." So the little boy goes off to bed thinking about what Dad has said. Later that night, he hears his baby brother crying. So he gets up to check on him. He finds that the baby has brightened his diaper. So the little boy goes to his parents' room and finds his mother sound asleep. Not wanting to wake her, he goes to the nanny's room. Finding the door locked, he peeks in the keyhole and sees his father in bed with the nanny. He gives up and goes back to bed. The next morning, the little boy says to his father, "Dad, I think I understand the concept of politics now." The father says, "Good, son. Tell me in your own words what you think politics is all about." The little boy replies, "Well, while capitalism is the working class, the government is sound asleep. The people are being ignored and the future is in deep. Roger is a hard worker and he spends most of his nights bowling or playing volleyball. One weekend, his wife decides that he needs to relax a little and take a break from sports, so she takes him to a club. The doorman at the club spots them and says, "Hey Roger, how are you tonight?" His wife, surprised, asks her husband if he has been here before. No, he's just one of the guys I bowl with." They are seated and the waitress approaches, sees Roger and says, "Nice to see you, Roger." A gin and tonic as usual. His wife's eyes widen. "You must come here a lot." No, says Roger. "I just know her from volleyball." Then walks up to the table. She throws her arms around Roger and says, "Roger, a table dance as usual." His wife, fuming, collects her things and slowly out of the bed. Roger follows her and spots her getting into a cab. So he jumps into the passenger seat. His wife looks at him, sees things with fury and lets Roger have it. At this, the cab driver leans over and says, "Sure, looks like you pick up tonight, Roger."